Hi everyone, you're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, we have a tradition here where we tag our friends, so help me do that. Tag your friends and tell them that we are on. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to go on my phone and tag my friends too. While I'm at it, you can tell me who you are, where you're joining from. And remember, if you didn't give StreamYard the permission for it to know your name or use your name, I won't know who is commenting or who is like engaging with me. So you might have to keep on telling me who it is. So anyway, let's see who I can tag. There's somebody who urged me and reminded me loads to tag them. So I'm going to start with that before I forget. Most of the time when I come live, my mind is already like ready for the live, and then I forget who wants to be tagged. So let's see, where are we? Where are we right now? I'm not seeing where it is. I'm not seeing it come up. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let me just try straight away with her. Then she won't say, oh, you forgot me. And a few more. And then we can get on with it. We've got so much to learn. I have a guest for you. Should be exciting. It's good to learn something new every day. So there we go. I've tagged a few friends. You do the same. Tag your other friends. Oh, hi. Hi. Oh, okay. You went straight for it. You know what? I was running late. I was hoping to go all glam today. I wanted to put my glam on, but unfortunately, by the time I realized, oh my God, I don't even have that time. So we are blonde. We are blonde. Okay, cool. It's amazing how we have to juggle a lot of things in life. I've had a crazy, crazy week, and it just keeps on going. Even after my life, there's some things that I have to do back to back, back to back. So there's always something to do. Anyway, so today's topic is for all the business people there or planning to or have somebody who wants to change their mindset in terms of business. How do you spell entrepreneurial? Is that the right spelling? It seemed wrong. Mindset. So that's the topic today. We have our guest, Greg White. He has a lot to share. He's totally experienced. He knows what he's talking about. I try to be, I don't know what word to use, but I try to make excuses with him, and he always has intellectual answers and response. Things you can't argue about, things that you can't go like, oh, you know, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. So I don't want to ruin it. I would like him to come and introduce himself. I want him to do it himself and he'll tell us his journey, he'll tell us everything. I hope you learn something new. And please do share your own experiences, your own knowledge, because what we do here is we learn from each other. If it's your first time joining us, this is Success Your Way movement platform where we inspire each other. We learn from all sorts of people. We believe we can all be successful, and we believe we are all successful in our own ways. If we sit down with ourselves and realize, look at our journey, where we've come from and where we are, we'll realize, you know what, we have overcome a lot of things, and we don't have to stop there. We can continue growing each and every day. So part of this platform is to help people grow, help each other grow, learn from each other. And this platform all came from the pandemic, when we were lost, we didn't know where we were going. And I knew deep in myself that I wanted more, that I could do more. I'm like, Nicole, you can be better. And that's when I started my life coaching journey and went and studied my life coaching, and it changed my life. And it gave me the confidence of even sitting in front of a camera and talking. I could never have done that before. Thank you, Kalake, for joining us. I hope I pronounced your name right. I call it Kalake Mutuku. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to welcome our guest. I'll let him introduce herself. And girls, please chill, relax. He's a hottie. I brought you a hot one today. Our first male guest, and he's hot. Hi, Gray.
Hey, Nicole. How are you? Hope you're having a great morning.
I know it's a beautiful morning here. Where are you first to begin with, and then go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us where you are and what time is it?
Yeah, hey, well, I'm just north of London in a little city called Peterborough. It's actually the second smallest city in the country, but obviously it has a cathedral, so it's a city, right? But I pretty much grew up here. I was born south of London. I have my family. My mum's originally from Liverpool, so most of my
Yeah.
family have got a Scouse accent, and my dad's from London. But we ended up, I think, here from about the age of 5. So I'm 44 now. And loving
Oh,
life.
okay.
I'm really grateful to be invited on. It's you mentioned there about intellect, and it just made me chuckle because I know when I was at school, I always had a bit of an entrepreneurial mind. Was always trying little businesses, but bizarrely, I never passed English being my first language. So I was never really a
I know.
student then.
That is so
And
strange. People assume just because you were born here, then you definitely will be good at it.
hey, my 13-year-old daughter continues to still correct my grammar. Bless her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the older we get, the more we learn, right?
Cool,
So
cool.
yeah, no,
I think one of our network.
yeah, it froze
Yeah.
a little bit there. It's a pleasure to be on. I really do appreciate. I mean, I love what you're doing here with the kind of the success your way. I think that's so important. I think it's very easy to kind of get socially, environmentally conditioned to kind of toe the line, like go the way that we're supposed to go. But I think actually we
Yeah.
have it within our hearts to kind of break free
Yeah.
and be authentic to ourselves, you know?
Thank you. You know what? I tell myself sometimes if we start our journeys from a negative point of view, from thinking that you're a failure, you're this, you're that, you're not going to have much, you're not going to attain much. But if we start our journey by saying, you know what, I'm actually successful, I've done this, I've been this, start recognizing the little steps you make, you'll be encouraged to do a lot more. So we're starting from believing in ourselves. We have the whole world to tell us all those negative things. We have even in the bus, you'll just get on a bus and there'll be somebody telling you something. There's always some negativity in the world. So we start our journey here by telling ourselves, you know what, we're doing good. We're doing
Yeah.
good and we can be better. So how did you get into all this business that allows you to travel and work from different areas? Most of the time when I speak to you, you're like in Spain or something.
Yeah, no, I think I guess over the years, I've started, we all learn and develop and we grow. I think it's in our DNA to succeed. It's just more often than not we get in our own way because of that social and environmental conditioning.
Mm,
And I think
mm,
if I go back to when I was a kid, we dream, like we have these dreams. I wanted to be a pilot in the RAF. I remember watching the well-known movie Top Gun with Tom Cruise as Maverick, and I wanted to be Maverick, right? And then you had this dream of driving a black 911 Porsche. But I think over the years, as you grow up, you get socially conditioned. You go into the typical world of employment, and that's fine if you love what you do, but you
mm,
kind of get conditioned to that 9 to 5 vibe, that working 45 years for somebody else to kind of probably
mm,
not end up in your happiest moment. And
mm,
that was me. I mean, at school, I tried many businesses. I learned when I think I was about 12 or 13. I
mm,
remember hearing a story, and my granddad used to be a butcher's and in Liverpool on the Wirral, which is just south of the Mersey. And him and his friends started this like underground football pools. They were
mm,
doing it for a lot of fun. It was a bit of an entrepreneurial thing. They were obviously doing very well. And what the
mm,
football pool is where people bet on the football scores.
mm,
And over a couple of years, it started to grow. And my granddad, it became more of a labor more than something that he loved. Like initially, they started it because they loved it and they enjoyed it, but it started to get really big. But it
yeah.
just wasn't in line with him being the family man. It was taking him away from his family. So he gave it away to his friend and partner, and his friend and
Mm,
partner enjoyed it because it wasn't with my granddad, Ronnie. And he then gave it away to another guy, and his dad was, well, basically it became one of the biggest pools in the country, worth millions. And my nan never let him forget. But at
mm.
age 12, 13, I had this little trigger, and I'm like, "Oh, football pools! I could do that at school." So I
Okay.
started running. I started running the pools at school. So I obviously had this like entrepreneurial spirit to do something differently. And like we're going back like 30 years now. I was making like £60 a week, like in this football pools.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's against school traditions. So that was thwarted by the headmaster. And then I found an ear piercing gun in the loft of my family home, and I decided to pierce ears at school. That lasted about 2 weeks. You know, I had this entrepreneurial spirit, but then
Yeah.
I went into employment, and my dreams started to fade away. Now, obviously, I'm sure most people have probably heard of the band Oasis, quite a worldwide massive band at one point.
Yeah.
They had a song called, you know, The Dreams We Have as Children Fade Away. And it just resonated with me that, you know, we kind of let go of our dreams, and because of that conditioning. And a little example, I'd always dreamt of having a black 911 Porsche. You know, it was a childhood dream. But as I hit like the age of like 18 and 19, my dream car went from a Porsche to a Volkswagen Golf. Now, there's nothing wrong with a Volkswagen Golf, but it's just an example of how your dreams change because of the conditioning
Yeah.
and the environment. And I remember my mum saying to me, like, my mum's without a doubt my biggest mentor, you know, probably without a doubt the most inspiring woman that I've ever known. I know I've got favoritism, but the lady's just, you know, beautiful inside and out, and done massive things. But I remember her saying to me, you know, where's your dream of your 911? And I'm like, well, my dream's a golf now. My mum just said, well, it never used to be, son. And I think, like, we change, and you know, everything in life, I guess, happens for a reason. It's a learning, it's part of our education. But I actually stumbled. I had a decent job, I guess, as jobs go. And I stumbled into the direct selling industry because I think, like most people, I was 22, 23. Like most people, I had a decent job, but I was earning enough from that job that pretty much just enabled me to live, but not to live, not to do the things like, you know, go out and experience and travel. And so I was looking for something extra. I'd always had this dream, Nicole, of traveling the world. I was really into surfing. I wasn't very good, but you know, I was trying. And
I think that's the overall dream for a lot of us.
Honestly, I tell you, it's you know, trying to surf in the UK is really difficult because the water is freezing. But I stumbled into the direct selling industry, and I just thought, look, if I could make an extra £400 to £500 a month part time that wasn't working behind a bar or in a restaurant, you know, maybe I could save the money to go traveling. And I worked really hard. And like, you know, you work hard, and as you said, like before, as you were introducing me, you know, you're busy, you've got things happening back to back. And, you know, I think, you know, everyone's busy, but everyone has the potential to achieve what they want. And I set this really clear goal that I wanted to save as much money as I can in a 10-month period with this part-time work.
The pain of wanting to be successful to you was more than anything else than the comfort zone.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, everything of value that we've ever acquired or achieved or feeling, even relationships, you know, if you imagine maybe that time when you asked somebody out on a date, or you went out on that first date with a loved one, you know, you was well out of your comfort zone. And I think everything great to us always is. And so I actually worked part-time with this direct selling business, never done anything like it before. It was like, you know, door-to-door sales. That was out of my comfort zone. And, you know, I was a bit of a secret agent. I was kind of doing it at night so nobody saw me. And it was just, and it went really well. And I saved, you know, a bunch of money, and I went traveling for 1.5 years with my surfboard. And I literally traveled around Australasia, lived in the Channel Islands for a little while, and just got to experience what freedom was all about. You know, waking up and living on your terms, like obviously
On
living
your
your
terms.
And I returned from traveling. In fact, actually, I remember, it's a bit of a strange story, but I remember sitting on a beach in Fiji, and back then, I guess it's the same, but when you travel in the world, people go around one way or they go around the other way, like backpackers. And I was associating with people kind of like attract like, and I was associating with people on a beach in Fiji, and everyone started talking about obviously what you're going to be doing when you get home. Some people going back to America, some people back to Europe. And I just said, I'm going to it just came into my head. I said, I'm going to restart this direct selling business I was doing. And I never really thought about it. But when I got back into the UK, I decided to see if I could make a full-time income, because I was making 500, 600, £700 a month part-time, and I thought, if I could do that full-time and not
Full
have to go
time.
to work for somebody
Yeah.
else. But I was apprehensive. I was nervous. I didn't know if it was possible. But I moved back in with my mum and dad, and I obviously had that security blanket where I was living in their house. So, I didn't have the stress of, massive monthly outgoings, just obviously paying my mum and dad rent, I guess, or we call it keep here in the UK,
Yeah.
paying your parents keep.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that, and it started to go well. And then, Joe, like everybody, I was hit by a bus, not actually hit by a bus, but metaphorically. And my best friend that we grew up thick as thieves, we did everything together. We used to dream about driving black 911 Porsches. Me and him were like really good mates. And he was aside from my family, he was the one person that I truly missed when I was traveling, because we were just always together. And it was just a really, when you've got certain friends that, they rely on you, or you can rely on them in moments of need and care and stuff. But I think I've been back in the country maybe 4 weeks, and he had a fatal motorbike accident, and it really knocked me for six. But I tell you what it did, and I do believe this now. Obviously, at the time was very different, but I believe from every great loss eventually comes a great strength.
Yeah.
And the strength from that loss for me, after being quite emotionally, knocked for six for a few weeks, I started to realize that, we didn't have a crystal ball. And I made a decision, and this is, I think, is really, really important for anybody that's looking to get into the world as an entrepreneur or to scale up their business. Everything in life is a choice. Even when we look at our beliefs, which we can touch on a little bit if you want, but our beliefs are a choice. Every belief we have has been something that's often been adopted by other people's beliefs, like we've mirrored people. So, you can change your beliefs at any time by the change of choice.
Absolutely.
So anyway, back then, Nicole, I realized I didn't have a crystal ball, and I made a decision and a dedication to live the dreams that me and my best friend Jamie always dreamt of. And I'll be honest, like, it sounds bizarre. Would I have worked as hard if that hadn't happened? I mean, you don't know. I literally put my blinkers on, and I thought, I'm gonna make our dreams happen. And that dream of driving a black 911 Porsche, I know it's materialistic, and I'm not a materialistic person like I was then. I've learned, and relationships for me are far more important. Obviously, the trinkets of success and being able to travel is great, but without great relationships, nothing else matters, I think. But at that moment, at age 23, I was hungry to live the dreams that we had.
To change.
So that was really the start for me, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody who's joining. Thank you. Somebody's saying good job. Thank you. Today let's learn together. Ask some questions, because I don't know what you want to learn, what you want to hear and stuff. So go on and ask some questions and join in. It's interesting you say you're talking about your journey, because there's a lot of things that are conditioning, and nurturing. Because I remember when I was younger, back in my high school days, what we call here secondary days, I used to like drawing stuff and then like selling it to my friends. I'll just make little things and sell it to my friends. And even way back, I just remember when I used to, because I was born in a different city and went to school in a different city. And I remember I'll do minor things like carrying things from that city to sell when I went to school. I'm just wondering, you know what, if I had grown in a different kind of surrounding or environment or mindset, I would have probably pursued that, and from the beginning know that, what, maybe you do love money enough to be a business person, business oriented, you should follow that journey. And I did follow it to some extent, because after I finished my college and stuff, I started a business, and at the beginning of it was going well until it stopped going well. And after that, I really never went back to like doing business officially. It's just the one on and off, on and off. And this brings me to a question that a lot of people struggle with, is at what moment do you know that, okay, I can live off off my, what people call hustle and stuff. At what moment did you realize? Because you said, okay, you started bringing in a lot of money, but some money in. But how do you totally decide that, you know what, I'm going to live off this, I'm going to do this full time? What is that moment that the equilibrium gets tilted into, you know what, I'm doing this? When does that moment happen, or how can somebody get to that moment?
I think obviously it's different for everybody. I mean, for me, it was based on fear, and it was the fear of having to go back and
Mm,
work within the same four walls. I mean, I've had many jobs at a young age. I'd
mm,
worked as a chef, I'd worked behind a bar, I'd worked in factories, I worked in offices. I'd steam cleaned buses. I'd had all sorts of different jobs, and my mum gave me some really good advice as a young guy.
mm,
In my early teens, maybe even, she said, if you don't love what you're doing, go and
mm.
do something else. And I
Yeah.
think too many people settle
Mm.
for their lot, not just in life, sometimes even in relationships. People settle because,
We
it's easy.
settle.
And when I came back from traveling, Nicole, I'd been used to being free, like, waking up on a beach, going surfing every morning. And that I'd got that bug for remaining free. So it was the fear of being tied down to employment, and,
Yeah.
and this mindset as well. Look, again, my mum's taught me so many great things. If others can do something, you can do it. And, when other people are succeeding in any area of life, if
Mm,
you want to succeed in that area of life,
mm.
there's two really important things. Number one, there's a roadmap to your success. I mean, you only need to look at Roger Bannister when he ran the first 1 minute mile.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it broke the barriers, and
Mm,
everybody else believed it to be possible, so they
mm,
followed in his line. So, in every business, very rarely
mm,
do we dream up something new. Now, if you look at like people that do, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, right? These
mm,
guys are dreaming up new things, but actually most of us
mm.
are inspired to achieve things, whatever they are, because we've seen other people achieve them. So that could be
Yeah.
running a marathon. It could be
Yeah.
a business. It could be absolutely anything. But the importance is there's a roadmap from A to B. And there's
Mm,
there's what I like to call a blueprint for success. So,
yeah.
for example, if you and me decided to run a London marathon, which incidentally you'd never get me doing, it doesn't interest me. But if
Yeah.
we wanted to run a London marathon, we would seek somebody who's run a London marathon. We'd find
Mm,
out what their training plan was and their commitment
mm,
levels were.
mm.
And if we followed them free blueprints or them free steps and was consistent, then we would be able to run a London marathon as well. Because
Mm.
it's natural. Like everyone's probably heard of Tony Robbins. Environment is everything. We are the sum of the five people we spend most of our time with. If you want to succeed, you want to be getting around the people that are inspiring you, or the people that are where you want to be. And you might not be
Yeah.
able to do that physically, but you can certainly do that through reading books and listening to audio
Yeah.
programs, jumping onto
We do
this.
talk about that a lot here. We do try and encourage people to, make sure that you read the right things, surround yourself with the right things, because you are basically everything that you do. It's all adds up to the end product that we see of who you are. So that's one of the things we also encourage, really. And from what I'm gathering is it affects all areas of our lives. It's applicable in all areas of our life. In a relationship, you want to change relationship, you have to concentrate on it, get to learn about it, surround yourself with people who are trying to make things work, or who are making things work for them. So in business, if you do the same, then yeah, you are off to a good start. I wanted to bring you to something, if my mind can remember because there's something you mentioned and I wanted to bring back and ask you, but I've got a little bit of a brain freeze. I don't know. But oh yes, now I remember. Okay, I also came to realize that a lot of us, when we hear about being in business and stuff, we think that we have to think of an original business idea and start something from scratch. We always think that, okay, for me to be a business person, I got to do this. But I'm coming to realize that, the entrepreneurial mind doesn't necessarily is not necessarily fixed in innovation, in starting things from scratch. You can be a different type of, business-minded person. What do you think about that? If you go deep into that conversation, or where people can start from, or what kind of things people can do?
Yeah, I think we're more in a world of what's called like the intrapreneur. So there's so many options now. If you go back to like franchising, franchising I think came out in the 70s, before I was born, but that became, that was nearly illegalized, because it was looked at as like pyramid selling back in the day. And now look at McDonald's, it's the biggest franchise in the world. So I think, there's so many opportunities. From direct selling and network marketing opportunities. These are often, things that people can, have confidence that there's a system and a support infrastructure so they can have the best of both worlds. They can be their own boss, but they can have that security at the same time. So I think that's become really common around the world. But it's just finding, the right company that has the right values, like anything in the world. Properties are a great thing. There's so much training out there that people can learn. But I think the biggest thing with anything is just being brave and a little bit courageous to break free from the norm. Everybody has it within them to achieve absolutely anything. It's just, it's in our DNA to succeed. Our bodies are designed to learn, develop, and grow. Like, we all know what a chameleon is, but actually human beings are the biggest chameleons. If you spend your time with people, the more time you spend with somebody, things happen. You start using the same terminology. You start talking with the same tonality. You even start dressing the same. Before you know it, your friends will have blonde hair as well. Because like attracts like. We become. And Anthony Robbins talks about mirroring. It's the biggest form of duplicating human excellence. So if you want to succeed, if you see somebody that's inspiring you, that's living the life that you want to live, or building the business you want to live, then you can mirror yourself on them. Now, you don't change who you are at heart. You always need to be authentically you, but actually we naturally mirror our surroundings. So why not mirror where we want to be? So I think, I digress always. I always go off on my little tangent, so I do apologize. But I think from a business point of view, I think there's so many options out there. You've just got to find what aligns with you. I mean, I've been in, one of my businesses, the direct selling and network marketing. I've been doing that for 20 years. I love it with a passion. I learned very early on, life is about value. The more value you to the world, without needing compensation, the more you'll be rewarded. It's this mindset. My mum said, do what you love, and what you do will love you. I love helping people. And I think, and just to put a little bit of context on that, I remember like going back probably one of the most financially successful years. It was certainly a big point for me because I hit a kind of quite a high level of income that for the first time ever, and I never thought that somebody like me would ever achieve that level of income in a year. But actually, that year it wasn't the income that was the most rewarding thing. I remember meeting a young little Romanian family, Johnny Pasida, their 2 kids, and this little boy called Andy that had just been born, and they were literally struggling to keep a roof over their family's head. And the most rewarding thing of that year wasn't the 6-figure income; it was the fact that I know I helped that family keep a roof over their family's head. That was, when I look back, that was the most rewarding thing for me, because it's connected to our emotions. And emotional people, like, I like to think I'm 6'2" and I'm a big tough guy, but actually I'm just as emotional as the next person. You get connected to friendships and relationships.
I think we glow differently when we connect to our emotion and feel like we're adding value to the world and trying to do our part. It really is amazing. Somebody there is saying, nice, very informative, good job. Please tell us what else you want to hear about. Ask questions and stuff. Okay, what I wanted to ask is if you can tell us, give us an outline of the characteristic of a proper mindset. As you think about that or come to it, I want to talk about what today I'm having my brain freeze. Maybe it's because it's the first male interview that I've done. You know, we used to ask women, you're loud, you're we just go with the flow and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Tell us some of the characteristics of a proper mindset that could help us get to where we're going. Yeah. Cool.
I think, do you know what? It takes me back to an event in my life that was huge. So it was actually before I lost my best friend that I told you about. I went to this meeting, and it was like a training meeting for the business I was in. And I'll be honest with you, Nicole, I didn't want to go. I thought, oh, this is all mumbo jumbo. It's like what I call like the Anorak Brigade. I didn't really want to go, but I went anyway, just to, just because I said I'd be committed. And I remember this guy, and I didn't know him, but he was talking about how goal setting had changed the life for him and his wife, and what they'd achieved. Goal setting.
Oh yeah,
setting their goals and dreaming. And for me, goal setting was all a little bit mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
But actually, obviously, over the years, I've learned the importance. Now, obviously, I'm in my office now. You can't really see because I've got the whiteboard behind me in the door, but I've got goals everywhere. And I learned that. I remember setting. I thought, oh well, look, I'll set 3 goals. If I could make a couple of grand a month and win a couple of holidays, that'd be great. And that's all I wanted to do. But there was 4 goals I set in that was the May of 2001. Yeah. One was an income related, 2 were like rewards, and 4th one was the most important one to me: have fun. Right? Always have fun what you're doing. Yeah. And in that year, I achieved all of them goals, and I thought, well, maybe there's something about this goal setting thing.
Yeah.
So I started getting a little bit
of a relaxed side of life, but I also realized that now that I do set goals, I do end up doing things. It's just like going back to school. It's something that I always said, I'll do it. But immediately I put it down on paper. Now I do have a walls of goal setting and stuff, but I'm still like relaxed. I don't want to feel rigid about it. I'm still taking a relaxed mind, but at least at the end of the day, I know which direction I'm taking. If you don't have any direction, then any road will lead you anywhere, isn't it? If you don't know, I want to go to
London. 100%. I mean, nobody gets on a train to nowhere, do they? You always know your destination. But I think there's even like movies. Everyone watching movies, like these sorts of things. These are the biggest mind conditioning things in the world. I mean, look at Forrest Gump just as an example. Just sat on a bench with this lady, and he was talking about life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, I think that's the biggest load of rubbish. It's the biggest load of rubbish I've ever heard. I mean, if you think for a moment, and I remember sharing this story once on stage quite a few years ago, and what I found out was that, for me, in a box of chocolates, every box of chocolates I've ever opened or seen had a little menu card telling you exactly which chocolate's which.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You always know.
Open this, caramel.
But what I found is, and I remember talking, and loads of ladies said to me, we don't need the card. We know which chocolate's which. So I think life is like a box of chocolates. You're always going to get what you choose. And I learned that we might not always get what we want, but we tend to get what we expect. So when you've got these goals around you and you believe in them and you expect that, if you do what you're going to do and you stay committed to the journey and maybe the activities, it's almost like going to the gym. You can't build muscle by watching somebody do the press ups. So, I think everyone's got it within them. You've just got to get a little bit of clarity and I believe also some emotional congruency, because mindset, everyone has the power. And I'll share this little story with you. I read it in a great book called Chicken Soup for the Mother's Soul, written by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. If you've never read that book, go and grab it. It's brilliant.
What book is it again?
It's called Chicken Soup for the Mother's Soul. I'll type it in the chat.
I'll write it down.
Soup for the Mother's Soul, and it's by Jack Canfield, amazing guy. There's a story in there called Moving Mountains, and I'll share this with you very, very quickly. There's 2 tribes. One was the lowlanders, one was the highlanders, and they always warring tribes. And one day the highlanders came down the mountain and fought the lowlanders, burnt their village, nicked all of their crops. and disappeared back into the highlands. But they took one of the babies of one of the lowlanders' families. They basically, kidnapped a baby and went up into the highlands. And anyway, this lowlander village they were really upset, and they got their army together, their strongest and most able men of the tribe. They got their warring party, and they sent this party of strong, tough men up the mountain to go and retrieve their baby for their village. So this tribe, they spent days. They actually spent 7 days trying to climb this mountain, trying different routes, but the terrain was too tough, and they just couldn't climb the mountain. They didn't know the routes to take, so they gave up, and they were just packing up at their base camp to head back down to the village. Upset. And one of the soldiers looked up to the mountain, and he saw this figure walking down the mountain. And as they were coming down the mountain, as this figure got closer, they realized that it was a lady carrying the baby that they had tried to find. And as she got closer, they realized it was the mother of the baby from the lowlanders village. So anyway, as she was passing by, one of the tribe members stopped and said, we're really confused. How can you, a young, petite lady, climb that mountain when us, the strongest and most able men of the village, haven't been able to do it? And she looked in his eye and she said, it wasn't your baby.
Oh.
So that's that emotional congruency. Like, when it's your baby, not all the armies in the world will stop you from protecting your own child, right?
Yeah.
So there's an emotion there. So every man and woman on this planet has this ability to achieve anything when the emotion is strong. And this is the big thing. People don't have that emotional congruency. A lot of people set goals, and I'll share a quick story to try and explain what I mean by emotional congruency. I had this goal to buy a Ferrari, right? And we're going back about maybe 7 years ago. And I had this goal and I had it on my goal board. But I'll be honest with you, Nicole, I wasn't doing the work to deserve the income to buy the Ferrari. And I couldn't work out why. And then I realized at the time, every weekend I had my 2 little girls. Like every single weekend I'd have them for 3-4 days. And so I'd work hard during the week, and in the weekend I'd have my 2 girls. And at the time,
that's what people say. It's like a routine kind of thing, and everybody's settled for, okay, I've worked hard in the week, Monday to Friday.
But I just wanted my kids, because I wasn't with their mum. We get on really, really well, and she's a great one, but we wasn't together. And I'm a proud father. I want to spend time with my kids, and I realized that the goal of owning a Ferrari wasn't congruent with what my priorities and my values were, because my priorities and my values every weekend was to go on adventures with my 2 kids, my 2 little girls. A Ferrari only has 2 seats. There was 3 of us. So that goal wasn't congruent with what my values were. So when people are setting their goals, like all of these goals that I have and everyone's got, one of the things that we need to do, and this is like answering your question, because this triggers our mindset, because if you're emotionally motivated, you'll sweep the street if you have to. And so I realized, like, if you get all your goals, and I learned this years ago, but if you get all your goals, and then if you look at what your values are and what your priorities are, and if your goals don't match your values, they're the wrong goal. And so you need to get the right goals, and I think that triggers your mindset.
I think that's what affects most of us, because a lot of the times we like doing what other people are doing just because somebody else is doing a certain thing. Then we think that, okay, I'm better than them in this way. I can do this better. I'm sure if I do that, I'll do it better. But you're not emotionally attached to that. It doesn't align to your values. It's not part of your journey at all. But you're making it be a part of your journey because you think that, okay, just because I'm better than that person, then I should do it better. No, you don't know what inspires them. You don't know what gets them up every day and inspire them to be able to do that every single day, to make that choice every day, to continue with that journey. For you, you don't have that emotional attachment. So tomorrow you might wake up and you're like, you can't really be bothered. You can't do it. You're not emotionally attached. I like that. I absolutely love that.
And I think as
Yeah.
well, Nicole, if it can expand, I think, your goals will be greater than yourself. Like human nature
Yes.
is to never let other people down. Like you and I will let ourselves down
Yeah.
because no one else is watching. But if you're committed to other people, like, so obviously I mentioned I never got my English GCSE. I enjoyed school. It wasn't that I wasn't clever, I just wasn't interested. And I got okay grades, but I didn't pass my English. But I've actually authored 3 books, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
go figure. But I tell you where that stemmed from. In
And we started
2000,
just writing with having good English, isn't it? That's all we knew. You have to be a good writer to publish a book. You have to be
yeah.
talented. You have to be able to, you know.
And I think, look, I had the book proofread, and people made, a friend of mine made some corrections and the odd mistake that I'd made, but that's normal. But the reason why I share that with you is because I was committed to a bigger goal than myself. That's why I wrote the book. In 2006, I made this decision because I was on a personal development journey, and I made a decision that I wanted to become good enough to be able to create an audio program to empower other people, and I
Yeah.
wanted to sell that audio program, and I wanted to donate all proceeds to charity. And I made a goal in 2006 that in 2012, I believed if I kept learning and developing, I'd become good enough. So I remember in the October of 2012, looking at my wall, and it was literally a piece of A4 paper that said, produce a CD for charity, December 2012. And I remember looking up and I'm thinking, I've not done anything to that goal. So I wrote this audio program and in a week, and I recorded it. A friend of mine did all of the technical side. I paid him to set up a website, and I sold the audio program for 1 month in the November of 2012. And in the December of 2012, I donated £9,500 worth of toys to the children of Bernardo's for Christmas. But it's because I was committed to something bigger than myself, made me go and create that audio program. So I think if people can commit to other people,
I like that.
we won't let other people down, but we'll let ourselves down.
Yeah. I like that you're saying. I absolutely agree that there's somebody who's saying, sorry, I don't know who this is. Later on, I'll be like, oh, it was you. Nicole, most of us like emotional attachment. It's so true. I'll tell you what happened to me last year. Last year, as I was changing my life and developing my life and getting bolder and bolder and braver and started doing all these things where I can talk to others on video. And I decided to write a book too. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I want to do this. I love sharing things. I like reading a lot and I like sharing it. And you can share them online as a post, but they get lost. Yeah, all these things will get lost in all these charts and stuff. So you want somewhere where you can always get those things. And a book is a good way to have, it's an archive kind of sort of thing. And I told myself, you know what? Let me archive all this information that has helped change my life, little stories here and there. And I started writing. And at the time I was writing, I was just doing it steadily. And I told myself, oh, it would be nice to have it published by this time. And you know what happened? What helped me get into that end of the journey is when a close friend of mine, I want to call her like an internet best friend. We had physically met and stuff, but we got along so well. And unfortunately for her, she became ill and she died really fast. Within a short period of time, we thought she could survive it. And she was just like a year or two older than me. And I told myself, you know what? Believe, Nicole, life is really that short. And she's one person I used to admire so much. She was healthy, she would exercise, she lived a life large, online and offline. Like she had a nice following because of the exciting things she did. People just loved that. She just had that nice energy. And I said, oh my God, if that can happen to her in that short period of time where she became ill and shared with us, and we all supported her and prayed for her and everything, and she didn't survive that, who am I? Who am I? Go on and just live your life. Keep doing your things. You've written your goals now. keep achieving them. So emotional attachment, I totally agree. My emotional attachment to that, to the what happened that time, realizing, you know what, like that realization, I became attached to that book and I finished it within before the time period I thought I will. It wasn't the
Oh, wow.
complete thing that it wasn't the complete thing that I'd hoped. But again, I was grateful for it because I told myself, you know what, at the end of the day, I have done it. You know, I have done it. I have done it and I finished. So my next one, if I ever do, which I'm planning to, then it will be now the first dream, what the dream was. Yeah, I like that. Emotional
So have you,
attachment.
obviously, is that book? Can I grab a copy of that book on like Amazon or somewhere? Have you published it yet, or
Sorry again?
have you published the book? Is it available to pick up on Amazon?
I did. It's an ebook, and Amazon allowed me to publish it, and they've let me. So if I want a paperback, yeah, I can do it. It just needs to be done. But because I told myself now I want something whole, like something complete, in depth of everything, and from the things that we've learned on Success to Our Movement, I wanted to put all that into the archive. So we're going, you will be part of the archive, you'll be part of that. You know what, Gray came and told us this and taught us this, and I loved, in fact, let's put the emotional attachment as a chapter.
Yeah, it's. I think
Of
it's
its
huge.
own.
Huge. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay. Let's see, do you have any questions, guys? I can see you're there. I'm really glad that you managed to join us. We didn't take a specific direction, we just wanted to get the whole idea of, just the juicy bit of it. Yeah, and I want to bring this up. I have to. You do network marketing.
I do.
You do. Network marketing, from where I come from, doesn't have a good name.
Hmm.
We hear network marketing and we go like, ouch. And I do network marketing, and I think everything is mindset. I think because I have that background where we just think here, network marketing, and we just kind of switch off. So my brain tells me like, you don't like this thing anyway, Nicole. We don't do this thing. So my brain is fighting that part where, Nicole, we don't do this thing. Tell me about how. Tell me whatever you want about network marketing. And if we have anybody in the audience who has anything to add about their feeling about network marketing, it will be nice to hear your view.
I think. Yeah, I think. I mean, I stumbled into network marketing almost by accident. I tell you why. It was going back to when I wanted to save the money to go traveling.
Yeah.
My mum and dad were in network marketing, and at age 18, I remember a friend of mine, inviting somebody around to tell me all about this business, and I just wasn't interested. I thought he was drawing these circles, and I thought, what a
Yeah.
load of twaddle. Right? But I was young. I wasn't interested. I wasn't really ambitious. I was just, I'll be honest, Nicole, I was partying. And then my mum and dad were both made redundant in the same week in their mid-50s, and they got into network marketing because a friend of theirs had basically approached them previously, and they said no. In their late 50s, they, getting into employment was not as easy. So they thought, look, let's have a look. Let's go see this guy. We'll find out all about it. And the guy showed my mum and dad how much money he was making, and that for my mum, that was enough because they knew him personally. So they decided to get started. For 4 years, my mum and dad were telling me to quit my job and to join network marketing.
Join it. Come on.
I thought they'd gone mad because I couldn't work out how you could make 50 quid a week, let alone a full-time income. So I wasn't really interested. But what happened was, when I was going to go traveling, the choice was either work behind a bar or do this direct selling, network marketing. Well, I didn't want to do any of the networking. I just wanted to sell the products because that looked really easy. So that's why I chose that, because I didn't want to work behind a bar. So that was how I ended up choosing. And actually, I found it much easier. Now, I'll tell you my thoughts of network marketing now. What that did is it gave me belief, because I could make immediate money, and it had nothing to do with talking to my friends, family, or building a team. I was making £500 to £700 every 4 weeks without network, without saying to someone, come and join my team. I did none of that. And so it wasn't really in my remit. When I came back from traveling, I had no plan to do the network, and I just wanted to make a full-time income selling the product. I believed if I could make a really good part-time income, it doubled my efforts, I doubled my income. And that's exactly what happened. But I ended up with a team member by accident because somebody approached me, a guy called Ray.
Well, the gods were on your side. They wanted to tell you that is your journey. Your guardian angel was like, "This is your journey."
But it was an accident. This guy Ray joined my team, and all of a sudden, this sense of responsibility that I'd never felt before came over me because I felt responsible to help him, and I actually enjoyed it. So that was the start of my networking career. But what I then did was I started telling people about the business, and I started getting all of this negative vibes. Oh, that's pyramid selling, and oh, you all of the negative stuff that people talk about network marketing. So I decided to study this. So I started researching it online because I'm the kind of person like I need to know stuff. Like I wasn't very studious at school, but it seemed to have I'd become that way. So I started researching network marketing online as an overall industry, and I learned so much. Like this everyone at the top makes all the money. Do you know what? Go and show me where that's not the same in a corporate job. There's only one CEO and they make all the money. And then there's you and me doing all of the work on the ground floor. There's that sequence of management. So I learned that. I learned that franchising was what actually was nearly banned in the 70s because that was deemed pyramid selling. McDonald's is the biggest franchise in the world. KFC, Pizza Hut, you name it, right? Our kids sing them songs, don't they? McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and a Pizza Hut, right? They were nearly closed down in the 70s because it was deemed pyramid selling, but it isn't. It's franchising. So I learned a lot about networking. Now, the challenge that we used to have that we don't have anymore is there was always unethical companies. So I remember a company coming into the UK 15, 16 years ago, and it was based on what's called healthy chocolate. Well, straight away, the alarm bells should ring off. There's no such thing as healthy chocolate, right? So actually now, for many, many years, there's been a governing body. It's called the World Federation of Direct Selling. And it governs values and rules and regulations that companies must abide by to work under that umbrella. And if you look at like the ABTA of the travel industry, like companies have to be a part of ABTA to be a respected travel company. So it's the same principle. So I guess in every walk of life, you have amazing companies and you have maybe not so amazing companies. But one of the things I found with network marketing is typically you get great products and it's just social selling. Recommendation, like my nephew's a plumber, so I have a property business. My nephew does all of my plumbing. If my neighbor needed
if it's not something I can use and it's not healthy, like if it's got like side effects, if I might call it like that, if it's something that I can't choose myself, it can benefit me myself, I wouldn't want any person I know to use it. So it's got to be more on the healthy side because that totally aligns with my value, So for me, if it's like that, then I know, okay, possible.
The biggest thing with networking is the business works, but more often than not, when people try something, networking or anything, and it doesn't work, most people don't take responsibility. They say, "Oh, it doesn't work. You don't want to do that." But the truth is,
and that's what we do with our lives anyway. That's what we do with our lives anyway. We do that with everything.
I think like anything, look, let's look at relationships, right? So let's look at, finding your perfect partner as an example. People sometimes have a few partners before they find the perfect one because they have a few idiots, for example, right? So when you're looking for somebody that you want to, like a friendship, actually you've got your values and priorities, and actually normally you're going to get on with people that typically share the same values and priorities. When you go and get a job, when you have a job interview, when you have that job interview and you find out about the job position, if it doesn't sit well with you, if it doesn't make you feel good, you probably won't take the job if you don't like it. It's the same with network marketing. you're looking for the right home, whether it's the right relationship, the right job, or the right
Mm.
company, or the right network marketing business, or the right
Or
place to
just
live.
don't jump
Figure it
into
across.
something, then blame it for maybe
Yeah.
mistakes on your part.
Yeah,
And I think that's what
I lived
takes.
in Jersey in the Channel Islands. It's a beautiful island, but I don't want to live there, so I didn't. It's the same
Yeah,
principle. You sometimes have to find the right home. But I think network marketing is, for me, like, look, there's millions of people all around the world in network marketing, and some
yeah,
people are just earning a couple of £100 a month, and it's changing their life. And
yeah.
that's the thing about the business. There's no pressure. There's, in network marketing now, like maybe back in the day,
There's
people
so
had to
many
invest
nowadays.
money, but
Yeah,
like when I started my first network marketing business, like I've been in two, and I've only been in two because one closed down after 17 years, which happens in the world.
yeah.
But that's another story. But when I first started network marketing, it cost me £99 to start my business. £99. That was it. And it hasn't cost me anything since out of my own pocket, because
Mm.
anything that I've decided to do has been.
Now it's gone down, isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah. So
Now
every
there's
company
nothing.
is
Yeah,
different. So yeah,
yeah,
so obviously the one I'm involved with now is very, very different. But and
yeah.
it's an amazing company. I mean, there's 3 million brand partners around the world, like from South America to Africa to Asia to Europe. So I think that it's like anything. You know, um, you've just got to find the right home that sits well
Right.
with you. And I
Yeah.
think look, network marketing can be amazing for people.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, what we do is we like trying out things, and so long as we've tried it one day, we give up on it. We don't want the whole grinding every day, making that decision every day to do it. And when it's network marketing, it's easy to blame network marketing or other things. I would like to cut you short. I'm sorry we started late, and I'm enjoying
That's
this. I
fine.
love it. But I want to tell our audience, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. This is not the end of it. You can follow Greg on a lot of platforms. He's everywhere. He's got books, he's got groups, he got. I will leave you with that. I'll let him also tell you himself where you can find him. He always has his lives, and there's always something new to learn. He teaches a lot of things, a lot of very useful things, things of value that people pay for, that you can't charge for them. And if you have any questions, he's always happy to help. At least I do ask him questions, and he does help me. So do that, follow him. I'll let him tell you all about why he can be found and the things he do, so that you don't miss out in case you want to continue with this. Yeah, we just give you just nuggets, and we just give you nuggets of information. Then if you want more, you can always ask for more. We are happy to do that. So do tell us that. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
And
no, it's fine. It's been lovely to chat with you, Nicole, as always.
yeah,
So it's nice
yeah,
to see you.
I find myself sometimes having so many things to do, especially lately, that I've added more to my list. But just to give us a summary of what we've learned today, for me, what I'm really going to take is about the emotional attachment. We have to attach things, emotion to most of the things. And we do know love is the universal, I don't know, gift, or love is just up there. There's nothing that surpasses love. So imagine if we put love in everything we do, love in our business, love in our homes, love in everything. There is no way we're going to fail in that. So love is the driving force of all these things. So for me, that is the most important thing I've taken from here. Have your goals, have your priorities, know your priorities, and follow them. If you don't have any goals and any road will lead you to anywhere. We don't know where we'll end up. You might be, I don't know, don't use lucky, but you might like be lucky you find yourself in whatever. But yeah, do have those goals. That's one of the other things that I'm taking, because I've seen it work in my life. I've always been the person who will say, I'll do it, I'll do it. And by the time you realize you're bloody 42, sorry for swearing, you're bloody 42, and you're like, okay, what did I do with my life? You realize you actually didn't do much. You actually didn't do much. So yeah, have your goals and set them. Look, now I'm an adult student. I'm there with 20-something year olds. They drool at me. They look at me like, don't look. I'm your mommy. I'm your mommy. Don't look. And they get all excited with me in class. So don't wait for too long. Anything you can do today, don't wait until tomorrow to do. Greg, tell us, give us a summary of where we can find you, the things you do, whatever you want to say as I try to.
Yeah, no, if people want to connect with me, I mean, there's three really easy ways. There's obviously Facebook. If you go Craig Michael White, and with Instagram, it's Craig White 77. And then, you know, I have a podcast show which is on iTunes or SoundCloud. It's called Passion to Succeed, and that would be it. So yeah, I hope that helps. And yeah, wishing you all an amazing day, and thank you very much for your time. And yeah, it's been great to connect with you all. Have a great day, and believe in your dreams, and do all you can to live the life you deserve.
Yes, guys, believe in your dreams and believe in yourself. Don't stop believing. Always go for it. Thank you. My guest just left me hanging. Actually, I was supposed to end this live. But thank you, guys, and see you next time, and bye.